Really touched. It's a huge simcha. And I want to start off the morning with a guest speaker. Ayel at Hastings would like to share some words.
Welcome to the Bris. I would like to say a few things today about my brother. One thing about him is I always wanted a brother. When I found out there was more boys than girls being born around me, I realized Hashem was trying to tell me something, and that is why we should always trust Hashem, like Rabbi Abraham Ibn Ezra, who trusted Hashem to not drive on Shabbos and was guarded by a lion. Anyways, we should listen to what Hashem is trying to tell us, so we don't, so we know that. That Hashem is always sending us something special. And about my brother, I wish him a good life ahead of him, and he will grow up to be a Talmid Chacham, and he will always be special even when he gets older, and he should live to be healthy, strong, and protected himself and family, and he should grow up to be someone who is kind and that cares for other people that need help. And he doesn't get angry, or he should be happy if he doesn't get something that he wanted. Thank you all for coming and for counseling your important things in order to join in this simcha. Have a great rest of your day and celebrate each simcha in your lives and families. Thank you. Thank you. We love you.
So cute, so delicious. Tiferes Golden represent. Thank you so much, Ayel, for your incredible words. Thank you, everyone, for coming. This turnout is overwhelming. Tzipora and I really feel the love. It's challenging to know who really loves you until you offer a room of Jews free food. Then you know, right? Nice, I got it correct. I introduced Ayel. I want to thank everyone. A lot of big thank yous in this room. First of all, Tzipora, above and beyond. Where are you? Thank you, Tzipora, for everything. What's the saying? You don't judge someone until you walk a mile in your own shoes. I think it's because then you're a mile away from them, right?
And you're wearing their shoes.
And you're wearing their shoes. But after taking over the house for the past week, the first day she told me I did a phenomenal job. After that, she didn't comment, so I assume it was downhill from there. I think I did all right, but definitely appreciate it. Okay, you can stay with me. Definitely really appreciate everything Tzipora does for our household, our family, and keeping everything together, and for being an amazing wife. I want to thank the in-laws, my mother-in-law as well, holding the baby right now, above and beyond. As soon as the baby was born, I can use the name Shlomo Elisha. As soon as Shlomo Elisha was born, just above and beyond, she's always been there to help us out. You know, when there was a call, she answered. My father-in-law too. Thank you so much. I want to thank my parents. They drove in on a moment's notice. I didn't give them a serious invitation because I didn't think they would take it, since there was Shabbos and a bris. So I didn't think they would come in twice, but they graciously accepted my invitation, and they drove in twice in the past week from Lakewood, New Jersey, 170 miles each way. Thank you very much, Abba and Ima. Love you. And they brought Shabbos with them, which was also very, very helpful. I want to thank the sisters. I want to thank Ayel for being an amazing big sister. As soon as the baby was born, she stepped up to the plate and she started just shining bright, doing everything a 10-year-old does, taking care of the house, helping with meal prep, and just being a really good role model, really big sister. I want to thank Daniela for being an amazing, incredible sister, little mama. She was always attentive to the baby's needs, always will be, and always just trying to be there and take care of her little brother. And last but not least, I want to thank Neely for becoming a big sister at a ripe young age. So this is our first boy. Oh, so first, I want to publicly thank Hashem for sending us a boy. It's been an incredible week, and it's just this is something we've been wanting for a while. So Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shechianu v'kimanu v'gianu lezman hazeh. Amen. And this is our first boy. A lot of bottled up energy and enthusiasm. So I want to encourage you to keep eating during the speech. My main fear of public speaking is of wasting everyone's time, not of actually the speaking part. And since I'm going to take my time here because I have a lot to talk about, please enjoy yourself, take your time, get up, get refreshments, and get refills if you need. Let's see. Thank you very much, Zadie Lowenstein, Saba Rabba Lowenstein, for coming from Israel. I took the wrong speech, so I'll just go a little. We weren't sure if Zadie Lowenstein was going to make it because I know they shut down the Israel Airways before the baby was born, and I haven't followed the news after the baby's birth. So it's pretty miraculous. I wasn't sure if Zadie came, if Zadie chartered a El Al airline or got a backseat on the B-2 bomber, but somehow Zadie ended up with us. We really appreciate it. And thank you everyone else for just showering us with love and support over the past 5 weeks to, participate in this Simcha. It's been incredible. As you can imagine, this Simcha is intense. Our first boy following 3 girls, we were all itching for a boy. I was itching to have someone to pass down the family baseball legacy to. I remember at a recent family Simcha at Eitan Lassen's bar mitzvah, cousin Ariel, Dr. Fromowitz, that was a good joke, I have to. He asked me what the gender was, and I was in so much awe that we were having a boy as soon as the ultrasound tech told us we were having a boy, that I kept it a secret just because it was just our little special secret. And Dr. Fromowitz asked us what we were having, and I wouldn't tell him. And he leaned over me, he told me a story that one of his grandfathers was in a similar situation, and the grandfather said, either gender is fine with me as long as it's boy. That was risky because it could have been a girl. Let's see. I used to tell everyone that I had plenty of testosterone to balance out 4 women, but as you can imagine, I was really just craving a son. And now here we have a boy to share the family tree with. So I'm very excited. Family is very important to Tzipora and I chose Zadie Lowenstein to be Sandik because the sight of 4 generations in that chair captures the essence of what's really important to us, hence the name as well. Salomon was being held by his bris by one great-grandfather, and shortly after was being named after the legacy of another great-grandfather, which is a really surreal moment that I was able to facilitate the generation building in our families. Salomon, or Shlomo Elisha, was named after his great-grandfather, the legendary Sal Arya. Most of you love or loved your grandparents. I was obsessed with mine. I idolized the man. And his values, his aura, his presence were legendary, as well as his power of persuasion and his ability to deliver a joke. Sometimes he finished the joke, and sometimes he didn't. So you could have been laughing at him or with him. It really didn't matter as long as everyone was laughing. He usually laughed the loudest at his own jokes. Anytime Zadie would tell a joke to a stranger and make them laugh, they were often in a little bewilderment. He conducted himself really cute and suave, so it wasn't really that awkward, but they often didn't know what hit them. He would then inform them in a very serious way that it's really healthy to laugh every half hour, and now they're all set for the next half hour. Using humor and personality, he would somehow always walk away being friendly with everyone he encountered. And yes, he would always leverage that to get preferential treatment. One thing you knew, if you were hanging out with the Zadie, you were gonna get the Zadie treatment, and you would be filmed. My Zadie grew up poor, he often starved, in his younger years. When he was around 17 years old, living in Mexico, he had to assume the role of supporting a family. Despite his best efforts, it wasn't always so easy. Over time, he found a mentor who took him under his wing and encouraged him to go to America to get an education. Back then, America was considered the gold standard for education. Look how far we've come. He and his cohort would work in Mexico and then travel to San Diego, towards San Diego. Did I get that right? I think. Los Angeles, okay. I knew I was in the right ballpark. On a regular basis for school. He did well in school, built a business, immigrated to the United States, and achieved the American dream. First building a fabric business and then a real estate business. He was always a very hard worker. Chinuch was always important to him. He wanted his kids to have a good Jewish education and always focused to make sure they had good peers and were being surrounded by good influences. He was a devoted husband and always treated my grandmother like a queen, taking good care of her. Zadie was always famous for role modeling the value of the dollar. Regardless of how he dressed, sometimes really flashy, other times casual, he never forgot the value of money. At one moment, he was pampering Booba and himself with a 5-star luxury. The next minute, he was trying to teach us how to repurpose our stuff so that it shouldn't be discarded. He hated waste. Humor was also very important to him. He was always cracking jokes and making everyone laugh. Beyond his humor, it was absolutely incredible that although he was Mexican and English was his second language, despite his heavy accent, he had a command with the English language that enabled him to be incredibly persuasive, deliver jokes really well, and enabled his larger-than-life personality and character to flow, even while speaking a second language. And then there was the mix of humor and persuasion. He was the king of getting great service at restaurants. On one occasion, my cousin told me they had ordered a meal that was supposed to come with fries, and when Zadie wasn't satisfied with the serving size, he pulled over the waiter and said, "Excuse me, is there a shortage of potatoes in Israel?" And the waiter looks at him and says, "What are you talking about?" And he says, "Look at these." That's an all-time favorite in our family. And it was immediately corrected. In our family, we called them Zadie Arya jokes when we use his humor, and Zadie moves when we pull off legendary Zadie moves, like the way he ordered a hotel room. He had to go up to the room first before finalizing the arrangements with the service agent to make sure it was up to his standards, and only then he would walk away with the room. Tzedakah was very important to him. He was very generous and always had an open hand to the poor and needy, especially to Jewish education. He would regularly write checks to his grandchildren's school to make sure to support the next generation of Torah learning. The second name, Elisha, was one of the greatest prophets and miracle workers of the Jewish people. He marked his legacy with an overwhelming desire for growth and constantly pushing forward. He always had to achieve the same greatness as his Rebbe, Eliyahu, and beyond that, pushing to consistently be greater and greater. One of the most notable things about him is that upon becoming the successor of Eliyahu, he asked Eliyahu for a bracha to be greater than him. And it's absolutely bodacious and bold to not only want to emulate your Rebbe, but ask them to be greater. And his Rebbe granted him the wish. His Rebbe granted him the bracha. The kind of ask was bold and bodacious, but is the person that he was, always striving for greatness and always pushing to the next level. Salomon, Shlomo Elisha, you are held by your Zadie the Bris, named after your Zadie Arya, and Elisha, one of our greatest Navim of the Jewish people. This is who you are. This is where you come from. This is your heritage. Now it's your turn to come. You come from families of great men who are incredible patriarchs in their own way. Your name packs a lot of power, and we have very high hopes for you. You were born in extraordinary times. As Rabbi Silver says, we're living in the age of miracles. The Jewish people are physically strong with their own homeland, their own military, and in Israel and abroad, we've got a flourishing economy. Spiritually, the Jewish nation is richer than ever. Torah learning is exploding, shuls are growing, and communities are thriving. So you, Salomon, were born into a world full of opportunity. You will learn what your tools are, forge your path, and Be'ezras Hashem, become a force of good leadership and light. Now I got a note, I didn't put in Be'ezras Hashem. That was ChatGPT. Yes, they knew the profile there. So finishing off Shlomo Elisha, named after my grandfather and Elisha Hanavi. In honor of my grandfather and the legacy, I decided to incorporate some Zaidi jokes into this morning's breakfast, into the Seudah. So 3 of Zaidi's most popular jokes go as follows. One of the quick ones is, a man goes to the doctor and says, "Doctor, my wife tells me I'm suffering from short-term memory loss. Doctor, what do I do?" The doctor looks at him and says, "Why don't you just pay in advance going forward?" Pay in advance going forward. Thanks for the laugh. The next joke is, a man is hanging out with his bunch of friends, talking about their medical issues. And one of these men, his friend knows that he suffers from memory loss and that he was being treated. So they asked him, "How's it going?" "Great, my doctor gave me a new drug." So one of his friends turns to him, "Okay, what's the name of the drug?" He says, "You know that long stem flower with petals and some spikes in the middle?" The friend goes, "Rose?" The man yells into the other room, "Rose, what medication am I on for memory?" "My grandmother's name is Rose." Bubby, we love you. Last but not least, that was funny, I yelled. Another all-time favorite joke is, there were a group of people on a safari, and they were just enjoying the safari. All of a sudden, they encountered a pack of lions that they did not anticipate seeing. And everyone was crazy. They turned to the safari tour guide. No one knew what to do. The safari tour guide didn't even know what to do at this point. This was unexpected. One random guy walks up casually to one of the lions and whispers in his ear. The lion turns around and walks away. The man walks back to the group all proud. The tour guide asked him, "What did you say to the lion?" And one of Zaidi's favorite jokes that he could never finish before he laughed, he told us 1,000 times, "If there's going to be a meal, there's going to be speeches." And on closing, I really love everyone for being here and for joining our Simcha. It's really touching. We're missing Zaidi Lassen. We miss you very much. And obviously he couldn't make it, getting taken care of. And in honor of the Bris, I want to wish Zaidi Lassen a speedy recovery. And Zaidi, if you're watching this, I hope you come back in full health really soon so that you can continue enjoying many more simchas. Be strong and healthy to enjoy simchas and the rest of your life with your family. And Buba Arya, I wasn't allowed to invite people, so I called Buba Arya and I put her on notice. She then put me on notice that she doesn't travel anymore. So Buba, we love you. We wish you continued health, strength, and a long, long life of enjoying your family, enjoying your life. And last but not least, I want to thank Saba Rabba for coming all the way from Israel so unexpectedly. And Zaidi, we wish you many more years of health, happiness, prosperity, and being strong and capable of traveling and joining us in many more simchas. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you all for coming.